You guys come on strong in the second part of that, but then just the wrong play at the wrong time, it seems like.
Is there a question in there? I mean, yeah.
A lot of things happened.
Yeah.
And so how do you respond? How do you
Yeah.
bounce
I mean,
back
you
from
know,
that?
I guess, I didn't like our start. You know, sometimes it's easier to start on the road in these game ones in the playoffs. So I didn't like our start. I thought, you know, once we started to play in the latter part of the second period, the third period, and the overtimes, you know, we really put a lot of pressure on them. You know, both goalies were good. We hit a couple posts. You know, that's playoff hockey. That can go either way. You know, I think if there's one thing I'd really like to clean up is just our start to the game. You know, it was we were standing around for the first 30 minutes, took some penalties, just uncharacteristic stuff.
How is Joe doing, and what was your thought on the hit?
I haven't really looked at the hit in depth. Joe's okay. You know, obviously he's banged up, hit his head on the ice when he fell. You know, we have the best officials in the world, and you know, they called a 5, they reviewed it, which is the right thing to do, and you know, if they reviewed it and decide it wasn't a bad hit, then you know, I guess it's not for me to argue with that. I mean, they got to look at it at multiple different angles, and that was the decision they made. So, you know, we got to live with that.
That moment, though, what does that do in terms of how the team responds to that? It seems like you guys responded well after that, but just what does that kind of moment have in terms of impact?
Yeah, I mean, it can go either way, right? It can rattle your group, or you know, or you can rally around it. And I think we rallied around it. I think the guys wanted to win the game for Joe, and you know, that's at that point, that's all you can do for him. You know, hope he's okay and try and go out and win the game. Make sure you win the game.
Do you feel like how do you look at the officiating in general, not just in terms of penalties called, but the ones that weren't called, and how you have to balance those?
Yeah, you know, again, you know, we have the best officials in the world, and it's a fast game, and you know that's not why we lost the game tonight, and you know, I think we've got to regroup and get ready for game 2. That's playoff hockey. You've got to deal with all kinds of adversity, whether it's a missed call or a bounce in overtime or a post that you didn't, you know, that didn't bounce your way. I mean, those are things you have to deal with.
For you, first time having Jake Ottinger in the playoffs, just what were your impressions of his just game overall?
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he was our best player the first half of the game, which is what he needed to be. And you know, a couple huge saves in overtime. I mean, I thought both goalies were excellent. You said Joe's okay. Do you mean you're confident for game 2? He's okay? No, I'm not confident for game 2. He's okay. He's walking out of the rink on his own. Okay. Yeah. You scored so quickly on the 2 power plays. I think 3 seconds and 7 seconds. Yeah. Does it surprise you when you can do that, and then through 5 periods you couldn't get a 5-on-5 goal somewhere? Yeah, I mean, you have to give them some credit. I mean, what you know, it's not like we didn't have looks. You know, I think their goalie made some saves. We hit some posts, so you know, it wasn't like we didn't create offensive opportunities. You know, we had chances to score.
You had to adjust your lines after Joe went out. How did you feel that went, and how did your players adjust? Yeah, I thought we started to wear them down a little bit. You know, even one man short. I thought we were coming over the bench with some energy and putting a lot of pressure on them. You know, over the last 3 periods of that game. So I thought our forwards rallied pretty well.
This will be our last question. Also, just an update on Luke. Obviously, he came back, but just, you know, how is he, and what happened there?
I don't even know what happened. He got something to the face, put a full shield on, and came back out and played. So it was a non-factor from my understanding.